Welcome to Season 3 of Sailing Sitka. I'm Kenna, and this is Jay. We live aboard our 1976 Choi Lee sailboat named Sitka, in which we have sailed south from Canada in 2022 to the very last port of Mexico. This season, we are finally exiting Mexico and taking our boat further through the Panama Canal and into the beautiful Central American waters. So hit that subscribe button and follow along, as this season we are sailing as far and wide as possible. You guys you make this happen, and we couldn't do it without you. So thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Sailing Sitka, and I hope you enjoy. Welcome to Golfito, a small picturesque town located on the southern Pacific coast of Costa Rica, located in the province of Punta Arenas. This quaint little place offers a serene escape surrounded by nature. Once a bustling banana export port, Golfito has since transformed into a quiet hub known for its outdoor activities such as fishing. With a laid-back vibe and welcoming locals, Golfito is a hidden gem that offers a unique blend of adventure and relaxation. For us sailors, it also adds a level of comfort, with its flat, calm anchorage allowing us to catch up on some much-needed sleep from the sloppy and rolly anchorages that northern Costa Rica provided. We couldn't be more grateful to have sailed into this port, and are even more excited to show you what it's all about. Thanks for joining us this week, and we hope you enjoy this latest episode of Sailing Sitka. Please make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. But for now, let's get straight into what life aboard our sailboat Sitka is currently like here in Golfito, Costa Rica.
Alright guys, day one in Golfito. Sun's out, so we're fixing our leaks. So this is the port side of where the main sheet attaches, and I can definitely tell it's been leaking. There's literally salt and it's wet, so we're gonna fix that right now. And then the one in our room is also gonna be the same problem, so I'm just starting to take the trim off. And outside I've already took the main sheet off, and I have our side connectors holding the strain, so when I'm doing work on the main sheet setup, like, see, they're loose, but I have these guys that I just clip on either side and keeps the boom centered, so that works pretty good. And just rebedding them with butyl tape should be easy. Also, I found some sealant that seems like a miracle product. We'll believe it when we see it. For the port hatch that's still leaking, as you can tell, I put a towel in it because it was leaking, and right now it's creating a sauna in there. This one did not leak. And like I said, if Sitka doesn't behave, I'm just fiberglassing her until we can get new ports. So she better listen. She better listen, Linda. Listen, Linda. I'm gonna get mad.
If you've been watching our latest episodes, you'll remember that we covered our portholes with acrylic back in Capos due to some pretty intense leaks over the season. Unfortunately, on our sail over from Capos to Golfito, Jay noticed the port side decided to completely fail, while the starboard side porthole remained a success. We decided to scrape off all the ineffective sealant on the port side to prep for a better repair tomorrow when the sun is shining. Hopefully this time around, with new and different sealant, we will have a leak-free porthole once again. But for now, we will cover it up with plastic as we notice some rain clouds approaching rather quickly over the mountains.
Look how pretty this is with all the clouds going in the mountains. And right now, for once, we kind of want it to rain just to see if what we did worked. We rebedded it, but we're not going to close this off until we can inspect it. And we're trying to figure out, because this one we knew for sure that was what was leaking. It was obvious when we took it out. It was loose, there was like salt water, and it was wet. But sadly, the leak in our room, which has been more intense when we took the plate off, it didn't look like it was leaking. But it could have went behind here and then down here. I don't know, but you would expect it that if it was leaking there, this piece of wood here would be wet because it's just untreated cedar, but it wasn't. So right now, Kenna, look at her face. This is the most concentrated I've seen her in a long time.
I'm fed up with it.
They call her Inspector Kenna. She's on the leak. She's on the leak. I didn't sleep much last night. We were at sea.
Tell a ghost story.
Huh?
Tell a ghost story.
Once there was a guy named Boo, and he was wet, and made our whole boat wet, and we want our boat to be dry. So weird. That was the weirdest thing I've ever watched. okay, but what's weird is you would think that if this, I don't think this window's leaking because you would see water coming down here and then down. And this has always been dry. This has always been dry. Like there's like dust in here. Pardon the dust, people, but there's dust here. But then you see here, there's a little like mark of a leak. But when it's raining, you don't see water there. It's like one of these freaking frustrating leaks that we don't get. But that being said, we had one of those, and that was that stupid porthole here that would leak so much that it would go down the channel and leak here. And we were like, it can't be anything on deck there. There's nothing that would make sense to leak. But yeah, the leak's not always above where the leak comes from. So we're really, really, really hoping this was the leak. And hopefully we fixed it with a shit ton amount of butyl tape. You know, it's freaking hilarious. It's like we bought $28 US, like really good sealant. Did the same job on both sides. For some weird reason, starboard side worked. See, no water goes in. It just stays on the outside of the other window. And then this one you saw earlier, we had to like take out because it was leaking. But a cheap garbage bag blue tape is completely waterproof. So Kenna's like, just leave the garbage bag on. I'm like, absolutely not. We're not leaving that on. So far, no leak here. So that seems to be fixed. But Kenna just told me water incoming. From where?
From right there.
Where does that come in from? It makes no goddamn sense. Okay, let me check here. All right, well, for those of you who think cruising is all sunshine and butterflies and cocktails, fixing your boat in exotic places and using tweezers to shove my socks in random crevices where leaks are coming in. So we figured out, like we said, that this wasn't the issue here, even though it was there. So we rebedded both. So anyways, they're not leaking. So I re-stapled this and put the trims back on. Now, and we know it's not the handrail either leaking because we can see the bolts there. There's no water. The water doesn't come from here. So we're thinking it has to be the window. Now, the seal around the window is completely waterproof. There's no water coming here, we can tell. But this window is screwed on from the outside, which I'll show you tomorrow. So before we do anything, tomorrow we're going to tape it with a plastic bag and blue tape because it seems to be 100% waterproof because we did that on the other hatch and it works. So anyways, we're gonna tape the window, only the window, and if it rains every day, so we'll be able to check this tomorrow. So if it doesn't leak, then we know it's one of these screws that's causing water to come in. So if that's the case, that's super easy. We'll just take all the screws out. We won't know which one it is. Doesn't matter. We'll take them all out and then we'll rebed them with new sealant. And then hopefully that does the trick. If not, then, and it's not leaking when we have it taped, then we know the whole window has come out. But I don't think so because we would see water coming in somewhere here. But the screws are on the outside of this perimeter. So what my thought is there's probably a screw probably here somewhere because the water's coming down here. So I'm thinking there's probably a screw behind here somewhere that's allowing water to come in, and it goes behind this fake liner here and then drips down here. That's the only thing I can think of. And I'm pretty sure, I'm 99% sure at this point that that's the cause. So we're getting to the bottom of it slowly but surely. But sorry guys. Hey, we're back. We just met. There's only one other boat that seems to have like humans aboard that's at the anchorage, and we just met the lady today. She seems really nice, but she was telling us, hey guys, just make sure you have your anchor light on, which we did when we went to the restaurant. She got hit by a fishing boat yesterday, and they were going fast, and it made a hole in her boat and like destroyed her dinghy and damaged her life raft. So felt pretty bad for her. That's pretty shitty. So now we lit up our cockpit lights and we attached the Lucy light that we normally have back here. I have it at the bow so you can see the light right here above my finger. That's the Lucy light. So we have the anchor light up, we have a light at the bow, solar light, and we have these lights, which is a new purchase from this season, which are also solar. We put them at the lowest setting so that hopefully they last all night. But she was hit at 1 a.m. and the boat apparently didn't stop. They just like kept going and then like stopped to like give their detail. And apparently nobody has insurance here in Costa Rica, like the local boats. So anyway, she went with the cops today and like she was able to like find the boat, and they agreed on they're gonna fix the boat. So she doesn't know what kind of work they do, but they're gonna apparently attempt to fix the boat. So that's the good news in this story. But hopefully, I mean, we're glad she told us, but that kind of put us on edge a bit. So anyways, we lit up Sitka as best as we can, and by the way, like where we are anchored is literally the anchorage, like on the charts. Like that's the spot for boats to anchor. Like there's us, she's there, and then there's 2 more boats there don't have anchor lights, but they're like more in, and they're actually outside of the actual designated anchorage area. Another thing too that I'd like to mention is like the marina here, which is called Fish Hook, which we're anchored in from. Super nice. Like we went in the office today and we're like, hey, we just anchored here. We're wondering, like, is it okay if we use your dock to tie up our dinghy? Like, we're gonna have food here later. She's like, oh, absolutely. Like, you're all good. Like, no fees. Like, you're good. I'm like, that's pretty nice. We've never really had that so far. Free dinghy dock, and it's super nice. And we met a lovely couple from Edmonton on their boat. They've been here for like 5 years in Costa Rica, 2 years in Golfito, so they have a little bit of local knowledge. And tomorrow we'll go inquire about laundry. Apparently the marina does it. It's a bit expensive, but I mean, we're at anchor and they're letting us use the dinghy dock for free. We just had a nice meal there for really affordable prices for Costa Rica, like the price of like breakfast and most of the other towns we've been in. We've had like a nice dinner, so that was nice. But anyways, we're gonna probably have an early night tonight because we were sailing here last night and didn't get much sleep, so have a nice chill night in a flat anchorage. And right now we can hear a marching band in the distance. But yeah, so we got 2 leaks fixed and 2 to go. Forward porthole and aft starboard porthole, I guess. We'll get there.
Waking up to such a beautiful anchorage really boosted the morale from the many hours spent last night addressing our Choi leaky boat. Central America has been a wet wonderland, and Sitka has showed her true colors with each rainfall, and we feel we've been chasing after these maddening leaks for weeks now, because we have. Still, no amount of drips could take away from the beauty that Golfito provides. Despite our leaky sailboat, we're anchored in paradise, and years ago we would have dreamed of moments just like this. First night's sleep in Golfito, Costa Rica. Oh my god, you guys, we were knocked out, KO'd. Like, seriously, that sleep, we have not slept like that since we started cruising for season 3. It's flatter than we've experienced at a dock. Like, I'm not even joking. I know that seems impossible, but it really is just freaking that calm. It really sucks that we're not gonna be spending longer here. We really do need to get going and get into Panama City, but gosh, we are so happy we stopped here. It's beautiful and it's hot, very, very hot. The boys are doing a fuel run right now, which is very convenient. It's right there at the Banana Bay Marina. They have a fuel dock there, so they just brought some jerry cans with the dinghy. And I just finished taping up another window. I know Jay has been explaining our leak problem. I can't even explain it because I'm just so frustrated with it. There it is. Got it all taped up. So now we're gonna be able to eliminate or figure out that the window is in fact the problem. So we'll find that out tonight because it rains here every single day. So, and if that's the case, then tomorrow then Jay is gonna do the screws for the window. He's gonna rebed them all, and then that should be it. So yeah, some minor inconveniences, but I mean, we're still in paradise, right? And what is cruising without fixing your boat in exotic places? After the fuel run was completed, we took advantage of today's sun, and Jay used his newly purchased sealant from in town and applied it back onto the sanded acrylic window that we attempted to use the first time in Capos. It's not at all the repair we would have liked or preferred to do, but we had to do with what we had in this particular time and place, and at the end of the day, we were just ready to have this porthole leak free. Clearly, this isn't our prettiest work, but hey, we can report back to you months later in real time that this ugly and ghetto fix did in fact work the second time around.
This ain't really pretty, but by the way, we're gonna repaint the black there, or just so don't mind the white everywhere. Couldn't find black caulking, so, and I really don't care right now. I just wanted not to leak. That's the really important part. Hold on here then, so that this is like close by. I'll pass this to Nick.
This is filmed. Careful.
Yeah, just hold it there. You holding? We're good?
Okay, gonna go fix our outboard mounts. All right, well, as you guys know, our mounts that tie down our outboard to our dinghy and to our like holder on the boat, they're stripped. So we're bringing them to a machinist to get it fixed. And it's nice because it's right here on a dock. So we're able to just dinghy up, and then the boys just took the outboard off, and then they're gonna bring it up to him. So doesn't get easier than that, I don't think.
All right, well, with my limited Spanish, I think we still got it. So it's gonna be 35,000 colones, which is about $80 Canadian, if I'm not mistaken. And it'll be ready around 3 p.m. So that's pretty good. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, that's gonna be so nice.
Because it was to the point where it was dangerous. We almost lost the outboard when we were in Capos twice. So now we were starting to tie it, which is kind of a pain. And it's just not safe either on the boat, because like when we're sailing, so far we've been lucky. Even in the rough sea state, it hasn't moved, but I didn't want to test it further than the sea state we were in when it's just sitting on the bracket. Yeah, so right now we're gonna go to the duty-free zone. There's a duty-free zone here in, on the border of Panama and Costa Rica, and there's another one that's actually away from the border, which I think is the one we're going to today. We need to get a raincoat because our Helly Hansen have failed us, and our My Deal has failed us too, but that one's like 10 years old. Helly Hansen has no excuse because it's like 2 years and pretty much brand new, but story for another day. And yeah, so we need raincoats, and apparently have cheap wine and stuff like that there. So. And we need to get some US money too, because Panama pretty much all operates in USD, and we won't be able to get any until we get to Panama City, but we're going to be stopping in some of these little islands where you definitely need cash. So I'm going to try to get some money out today. And I think now that we got the outboard fixed, I think we're going to leave Wednesday. So tomorrow will be our last day here, and we'll get a bit more water because it's free and easy. And yeah, then we'll head out. Outboard will be fixed. All the leaks are fixed except the most annoying one in our room. I'm gonna try to get some food dye today so we can see where the leak's coming from, because I'm completely out of ideas as to where it could be from. But yeah, that's the little update. Now we're just rowing. I'm super hot.
Hola.
This is a good workout.
Yeah, after bringing the outboard up, I don't think I need one, but also inflatable dinghies are not great for rowing. Like, they're not meant to be rowed, so they're not really efficient. That's where hard dinghies are good at. Like a little rowing dinghy, they're so efficient.
Oh, Central America.
Who needs Helly Hansen? This is the packaging that it came in. I would tell you what it says, but I don't know how to read that. Anyway, this is my new offshore gear.
Do a spin.
And you spend $10 on it, or $15.
15 bucks, baby, at a Japanese fishing store. Our evening turned into a spontaneous night after having dinner with Carlota, the other offshore sailor that we met a few days prior, whose boat got smashed into by the fishing vessel. Turned out she was a tattoo artist. And, well, one thing led to another, and Sitka quickly became a floating tattoo shop at anchor, because why the hell not?
Sailor tattoos are traditions of tattooing among sailors, including images with symbolic meanings. These practices date back to at least the 16th century among European sailors, and since colonial times among American sailors. People participating in these traditions have included military service members in national navies, seafarers in whaling and fishing fleets, and civilian mariners on merchant ships. Sailor tattoos have served as protective talismans in sailors' superstitions, record of important experiences, and markers of identity and means of self-expression. For centuries, tattooing among sailors mostly happened during downtime at sea, applied by hand with needles and tattooing made with simple pigments such as soot and gunpowder. These tattoo artists would informally develop a graphical vocabulary including nautical images such as mermaids and ships. Starting in the 1870s, a few former sailors began opening professional tattoo parlors in port cities in the United States as well as in England. This trend increased after the development of the electric tattoo machine in the 1890s. And for now, Sitka is our tattoo shop, and a fellow offshore sailor is our tattoo artist. I don't think it gets much more salty than this.
For $20, Carlota gave us a memory that will last us a lifetime. I got Pura Vida, which is a commonly used phrase here in Costa Rica, meaning pure life, or in other words, to live easy and slowly. The boy settled on a more traditional sailor tattoo, hold fast, meaning when you're in the thick of it, secure a hand to the ship quickly while leaving another hand free to attend to your surroundings or shipmates. Thank you, Carlota, for an evening of excitement. It's not every day that you get tattooed in Costa Rica on your own boat, the very same sailboat in which you sailed down from Canada. Like Jay said, it doesn't get much saltier than that.
Alright, good morning guys. I just wanted to show you, we didn't take the time to show you yesterday because it was pouring rain when we went and grabbed the outboard from the machinist, but he did an awesome job. So he basically drilled these holes bigger and then used a piece of just stock stainless steel and put it on a lathe and then did some really good work here. And yeah, now like this is like working flawlessly. The only thing I'm gonna change a bit is where these attach. It's just a normal nut. It's not nylock, so I don't know if he put some Loctite on there, but I'm gonna do that right now, and I'm gonna see too if I have a double one. So I'm gonna look in my kit here and see if I have more of that size. I'd like to have a double one on there. I think I have nylocks right here, but usually I have every size but the one I need. But let's see if these will work, because that would be perfect.
The next day, we spent the morning officially checking out of Costa Rica, which consisted of a $25 fee and a bit of a runaround between immigration, the port captain, and the bank.
A lot easier than Nicaragua. A lot easier so far.
But once that was all completed, we were set to lift our hook and sail away, leaving Costa Rica behind us like an old chapter in our book of adventure, leaving room for a new chapter to start. We cannot wait to see what Panama has in store for us next week on Sailing Sitka. But before we end this episode, we wanted to say that we noticed how much you guys loved commenting a keyword at the end of last week's video. So to carry that on, if you've made it this far into this week's episode, show us by commenting "hold fast" down below, so we can acknowledge and thank you for watching the entirety of our episodes. Thank you so much for being here, for commenting if you did, and subscribing if you have. This has been such a wild adventure, but one not made possible without the love from you all, especially our Patreons. Catch you all next Sunday for another episode of Sailing Sitka. Thank you for watching this week's episode of Sailing Sitka. Stick around for more to come. If you enjoyed, please spread the love and let us know. Special thank you to our Patreon members for making these videos possible, as well as helping our dreams come true. See you all next week.